Hello. Today I'm doing a tutorial about food and where it comes from, and with that also different unique features about farms that you may not or may know. Before us we have 3 eggs. A white egg. This white egg is a little bit off-white with some spots. Then we have a purely white egg that is bigger and, well, doesn't have any kind of unique feature about the egg. Then we have a brown egg. Perhaps when you notice when you go to the store, all your eggs are white. Well, technically they're not white; they're brown. But the reason why they change from brown to white is because they bleach them in bleach, obviously. So most eggs that are produced and in America, at least, as well as many other countries, are actually brown eggs. Very few are white. Some varieties do lay white, but most lay brown. So this is a pure white egg that comes from a smaller breed of white layered chickens, and then the average normal chicken that lays a brown egg. And then this is your store-bought egg. So that is that for now, and I'm going to cook these up, and I will show you what they look like. There's a difference in what the color is, and a lot of differences also in the actual contents of its vitamin and nutritional makeup. And so then I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Here we have our eggs again. In this corner we have the brown one, the fresh white one, and then the store-bought white one. One thing that you could particularly notice at this time of year, it's not springtime or summer, so the chickens haven't been out to pasture yet. Otherwise, they would be a vibrant orange color, but if you still probably can notice a little bit that these two are particularly a little bit more of a darker color, golden, and then this one, normally the store-bought one, will be more of a yellow color. Another thing that you could particularly notice is that the albumin, or the egg white on the store-bought one, doesn't seem to, it's more viscous, and it doesn't spread out, sort of. It kind of stays all up in one bunch. Some interesting facts about fresh eggs that you may or may not know is everybody says, oh, fresh egg, or eggs aren't the best for you because they contain a lot of cholesterol. Well, that is true, especially for the store-bought ones. But there is a difference between bad cholesterol and good cholesterol, and if you look at most scientific studies and research, they'll show you, and they've proven that there's a difference between good and bad cholesterol, and that fresh eggs particularly have much more good cholesterol than bad cholesterol, whereas the ones that are store-bought have more bad cholesterol. They also have a lot of protein and other good sources of vitamins that you need to live. Anyways, I'm going to continue on with talking about the eggs here. Going back to our eggs here, we can see that the store-bought one, the albumin still hasn't really cooked, and it's still all bunched up together in a very viscous form, as you can see. One particular interesting note about, you may or may not know about the eggs that you buy from your store, most come from huge, ginormous, gigantic poultry farms that have thousands, if not tens of thousands of chickens. They're all in cages, and they normally stuff between 2, 3, 4, or 5 into a cage, and they have automatic waterers, and they're fed only a grain-based diet with antibiotics and a lot of other chemicals that although the government and some studies show they are perfectly harmless, many studies, specifically in Europe and China, show that antibiotics and a lot of the chemicals that they spray onto the feeds and put into the feeds for the chickens for their diet actually are not very healthy. In fact, they're harmful, and oftentimes they don't live much beyond the age of probably 8 months or so. Not very long. They produce eggs for probably a couple months, and then they die. So there's a high death rate in these giant poultry factory farms, and it's mostly because they're cooped up in small amounts of space, and just their diet is not very good. Whereas fresh eggs, these ones come from our flock of chickens, and they, in the summertime at least, and in the springtime and fall as well, we let them go out to pasture and they graze, so they get worms, they get grass. That's what chickens normally eat, particularly, so that we're just doing what nature and many other farmers do. God intended chickens to eat grass and insects and worms and all sorts of things, and that's what makes their eggs particularly more nutritious, and they're live to be a lot longer. They're not confined to very minimal spaces, and so they live for the most part, a very happy, productive life. And you'll see them clucking around the yard, flying around the yard, etc. They're having a grand old time. So that's just some wee little tidbits about food, particularly eggs today, and about chickens. And later on I'll show you our chicken coop and the chickens in particular that we have. Thank you very much. Have a great day.